Hello my friends, welcome Coffee and Reactions video channel. I am Mustafa from Turkey and today we are gonna learn history from Thailand. This is the Thai's vengeance, the 1940 Franco-Thai war video. This is from Tipsy Fish History YouTube channel. Thank you my friends for this video and let's start the video.
During World War II was a
Let's make the subtitles Thai so you can understand too. Thai, okay?
shock to many in the world. Its colonial empire was largely administered from a German puppet government of Vichy France, and there was a major worry from the Allied High Command of antagonizing the puppet French government enough that they'd openly fight against the Allied forces. However, other nations, not familiar with either faction, saw this as an opportunity to gain influence at the expense of a heavily weakened French nation. In today's episode,
Okay.
we'll be looking at one of these conflicts, the Franco-Thai War.
Okay, I remember from your comments, you fought with France and you won, right? Okay. France invaded some of your country and you retake those lands.
Before talking about the war itself, we need a bit of background information.
Okay.
The fall of mainland France in mid-1940 shocked many in the world, who expected a repeat of the slow, grinding attrition of the First World War. With France occupied, a puppet state, Vichy France, was created. This government oversaw the vast colonial empire that the nation wielded. Yet, protection of this was dodgy at best, and some foreign powers saw this as an opportunity to themselves expand in influence. Japan saw the solitary French colony in the area, Indochina, as a prime target, and issued ultimatums on June the 19th, this ultimatum demanding the closure of all supply routes to China and the admission of a 40-man Japanese inspection team on that demand. Initially, Kanto refused the demand, stating that such a thing would breach sovereignty. However, once he became aware of the Japanese land and naval units in position, he accepted their demands, knowing that his forces couldn't hope to defend the territory, and that assistance from the mainland or even other colonies wasn't forthcoming. On the 22nd of June, more demands were brought forward, them being naval basing rights at Guangzhou and the total closure of the Chinese border by July the 7th. On July the 3rd, another demand was presented, air bases and the rights to transit combat troops through Indochina.
I'm trying to catch up. The Japan is demanding to France people, right? The France army. Japan demanding from France, I think. So it's meaning that Japan is trying to help Thailand.
Tatil was replaced before the government responded to the two new demands, and the new governor Jean de Cool urged the government to reject them. Jean knew that the colony wasn't strong enough to defeat the Japanese, but saw it as strong enough to deter them from invading in the first place. The still neutral United States was contracted in providing aircraft to the colony, and de Joux had over 50,000 men under his direct command, with over half of them being regulars. While this force was the largest of any French colony at the time, it wasn't enough to deter the Japanese. Plans were drawn up, and yet another ultimatum issued on September the 20th, signing that Japanese troops would enter the territory regardless of French response. The invasion started on September the 22nd of 1940, and heavy fighting erupted along the northern border, but the French were only able to hold off for a day before needing to retreat, following the same path that they did during the Sino-French War 60 years prior. Hint and click on my video on that subject here. By the 26th, fighting had died down and the Japanese were allowed to station tens of thousands of units within Indochina as part of the peace, but they didn't do so just yet, fearing retaliation from the Americans, who had already been trying to force Japan to leave China. After this fight with the Japanese, the Thai government, the only independent nation in South Asia, saw this as a golden opportunity to gain back territory that they had lost years prior.
So he said that Thai government was the only independent government in that Southeastern Asia. Okay, the only country that have not been colonized.
Franco-Thai tensions had sparked during the past, and disagreements between...
I want to see that map again. So these parts are from France, and these parts from Britain, Great Britain.
Franco-Thai tensions had sparked during the past, and disagreements between where the boundary actually was had been ongoing debate for many years. In the previous century, Thailand had to give up a large amount of territory that was now held by Indochina. Prior to the outbreak of World War II, negotiations between the two nations saw a possibility of some small border adjustments. Now, however, Thai Major General Flak Pamsalagram saw the weak governmental response to the Japanese occupation as a great way to get the land back that they wanted.
Okay.
Getting lukewarm acceptance from the Japanese, Flak drew up plans for war. In November of 1940, Thai units started probing Indochina's defenses with artillery strikes and border raids, with a full-on invasion starting in January the following year. Thai forces were a mixture of Western and European material. The Air Force consisted of American-built Kosars and Curtiss Hawks, with a supplement of Japanese Mitsubishi bombers.
Okay.
The Army fielded German crop guns and 30 British Vickers tanks, as well as 5 dozen Carden-Loyd tankets. The Navy was comprised mainly of torpedo boats manufactured in Italy, but also 2 Japanese-built coastal defense ships. And while not large by World War II standards, Thailand was able to field about 60,000 well-equipped and trained men in 4 separate armies. Even with...
He said 60,000, right? Okay. I remember that France was 50,000, but they fought with Japans also. Okay. This is good. And Thailand has lots of weapons from all around the world. From America, Germany, Italy, England. Okay. From Japan.
The advance warning, Indochina faced a dire predicament. Though the army was not significantly smaller at 50,000 men, only 12,000 of these were regular units, and the Indochinese army also had the duty of maintaining order within its own borders. Native rebellions plagued the colony, drawing soldiers away from the front to police the local populace. Against Thai armor, the French could only field one operational tank company, a World War I era light tank, the Renault FT. While they had a more powerful navy, that being a light cruiser and 4 medium-sized warships, their air force was considerably inferior, being able to muster only 100 obsolete aircraft, made up mostly of the Potsa 25, a 1920s single-engine bomber. To make matters worse, the colony was cut off from the home country, and local shortages ensured materials such as oil went to Japan first, and the British in India and beyond prevented Vichy ships from ever reaching the distant colony.
Okay.
In the first few days of fighting, Thai pilots took the skies and never relinquished them, while the accuracy of Thai fighter bombers surprised French commanders. The Grand War was a little different. Just a week into the conflict, the Thai army gained control of Laos and most of the Mekong River's western bank. Advances into Cambodia proved more difficult, however. Thailand sent the bulk of its invasion forces into the disputed Cambodian province of Battambang, but strong resistance from native colonial rifles kept Thai gains to much less than in the Laotian invasion. The French attempted to counter-attack at Yang Dan Kum, but the result was disastrous. The Thai air wing managed to control the sky with impunity, and the thick jungle made unit coordination almost impossible. It was only a handful of legionnaires that managed to prevent a complete rout, as they managed to blow apart some of the Thai tanks and held the advance off for long enough to let the main French column retreat. Yet a French victory did come in from the sea. In the early morning
Really? From the sea, okay?
of January the 17th of 1941, a French naval squadron caught a Thai naval detachment by surprise off of Cochin Island. The subsequent Battle of Cochin was a tactical victory for the French, and resulted in the sinking of 2 Thai torpedo boats and heavy damage to a coastal defense ship, with the French suffering only minimal casualties. This boosted French morale and reignited resolve within the colony. In turn, the Thais had lost the initiative and were stalled in making any more advances into Cambodia, and by early February, fighting had stalled all along the line. Fearing that the French might get the upper hand, Japan showed up in force at the Mekong Delta and brokered an armistice between the two powers. On May the 9th, a formal peace treaty was signed in Tokyo, officially ending the war.
Okay.
The brokered peace treaty forced France to cede northwestern Cambodia and two Laoan enclaves to Thailand, yet made the Thais pay millions in restitution to the Vichy government. In appreciation, the now Prime Minister People Sagram secretly pledged military support for Japan should Japan ever engage in war with the United Kingdom, and a monument was constructed, the Victory Monument in Bangkok.
So this is Victory Monument. Okay, that's cool. So you have good relations with Japan. Okay, Japan helped you in that war.
To commemorate the victory over a European power. What the ceasefire agreement demonstrated was who controlled events in Southeast Asia. Japan made it apparent that Indochina's independence rested at Tokyo's whim. Japan also allowed it to legitimately increase its presence in the area and gain further access to the corridors that led straight through Thailand to Malaysia and Burma. Fleck, who had hoped for greater cooperation with his country's Asian neighbor, realized Japan had no interest in his nation except for a strategic position. He feared an invasion in the future, and later secretly approached the British and Americans, seeking aid if Japan invaded Thailand. Fleck was right to be worried in this regard, as on December the 8th of 1941, Japan would invade Thailand in combination with a strike south and bombing of Pearl Harbor, putting an end to this chapter in history and starting the printing of a new one. I hope you enjoyed the video of one of the more forgotten campaigns during the Second World War. If you have any suggestions for topics that you want me to cover in the future, say so down in the comments below.
Okay, what happened that? It was an interesting video. We watched the Thais Vengeance, the 1940 Franco-Thai War, and this is from the Tipsy Fish History channel. That was interesting, right? I always love history. I always love to learn what happened in the history. Okay, thank you for watching it with me, my friends. If you are hearing a motor voices, it's from the outside, unfortunately. They are cutting the grasses with that motors. So this is a little noisy outside, but okay. Thank you for watching it with me, my friends. Have a nice day. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.